childhood in gaming. Just because that stuff is fast, that kind of stuff is fascinating to me. Is seeing other people, uh, their lifestyle when it came to gaming. What was their
Yeah.
first game as a kid? And you can go ahead and hit me with it, my friend.
I mean, we started with the Atari, this strange little pixel console. That was my first video game. Was probably Frogger. I think already. I think you know that one, right? Where you have the
Frogger,
frog and you
yeah.
want to cross the street.
Yeah, that's a classic one.
Yeah, it's so classic that I didn't even consider it as a good game. It was just we had nothing to do and we had this freaking Atari game, Atari console. I didn't like that console that much. But like 1 year later or something, my parents thought it's a good idea to buy a computer, and so I had access to an Amiga 500. That's a C64,
Oh my
and
god, let me tell you.
my father bought that thing and on some kind of what is a Flohmarkt in English, where people buy their sell their personal stuff for a
Flea
very
market.
small what?
Flea market.
Oh, it's actually the same word. That's interesting.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
flea
yeah.
market. Okay.
Yeah. Flea market.
Okay, yeah. And they bought one box of video games. Back then, obviously, they were on floppy disks, these 3.5 inches. And there were like 200 games in there. And I obviously tested all of them. I was so hooked with that machine that I just tested everything. My parents were always careful with that, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know how this works. I'm stepping away from that." Yeah, and people like us, we obviously are curious and want to test everything that is possible, even if it sounds like could be damaging to your computer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Know what you mean?
That was, and these were my first experiences with that. For example, this Amiga PC, couldn't even call it a PC. It didn't have a hard disk. You couldn't save shit, nothing at all. So every time I started that PC, that computer, I started from scratch. And I took a look at the manual, and there was a sub-program there dealing with your mouse cursor. And they had they had this pretty ugly standard mouse icon that was like a 45 degrees arrow. It was really ugly. And in the manual, they showed a pretty, like nowadays, modern, more like 20 degrees angle mouse cursor. And I looked at that, and they had a pixel zoomed in view on that, and I was like, I want to have that cool mouse cursor. So I fiddled around with that in the system controls, drawing my mouse cursor, setting it as my active mouse cursor, and then started working with that PC. You know what? Because we didn't have a hard disk, I did that every day, drawing my own mouse cursor. At some point, I could do it by heart, and this was just fascinating to me. This personalization, this customization, and then I started playing games there. The funny thing is that back then, this computer was in our basement, and because we didn't have any power outlets at that wall, the PC was directly connected to the light at the top of the ceiling. So whenever someone would deactivate the light, the computer would just be powered off.
Oh my
And my
god.
mom used to hang their laundry in that room. And at some points, I was pretty far in any of these games, which I couldn't save. So I had to rely on passwords that loaded a different level. And she just hung their laundry, left the room, not thinking about it, and just deactivated the light. Boom! Everything was back to zero.
Oh my gosh.
And
Honestly,
at that machine, I had a great time with my father, playing all kind of pinball things. If I played solo, my favorite game was Megalomania.
Lego Man.
Do you
Lego
know that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do know that.
You know that? Oh my
Yeah,
god!
yeah. There's actually a song that's called that here in America.
You mean that one from Undertale?
Yeah.
But that is Megalovania. I'm talking about
No.
Megalomania.
There's a metal band there called Legomania.
Ah, okay.
Honestly,
And then
I'll be honest with you right here. You talking about this story would make a great YouTube channel talking about it. Because this is something separate from other people. Because you gotta think, we're from different cultures. So people
Yeah.
from other cultures will find this very fascinating, very interesting. Because not many people get to hear the insights from other people's cultures or other people's countries that get that didn't experience this as a kid. Because our cultures were all different. We all have our different experiences here.
yeah, and also the history about not having that technology that kids nowadays grow up, right?
Exactly. So people will hear this. And be like, this is so fascinating. And I believe
Yeah, I never thought about doing a YouTube. I'm just streaming on Twitch,
you
and
stream
never
it.
did the.
You stream it,
Yeah, yeah.
but also take in mind that your stories here. To me, listening to this person in America that didn't experience this child finds this very fascinating.
Okay.
So, hearing this is very entertaining. So you can only imagine how people would feel about this in other countries too.
Yeah, true.
I think it'd be a fantastic idea. Even just dip your toes in the water a little, see what the
True.
heck happens. Because here's the thing: what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, you're totally right. And I'm actually not streaming in German. I'm streaming in English. Um, I'm streaming Wednesdays and Fridays. And Wednesdays is a German time. It's after my work. And on Fridays, I'm streaming starting at 11:30 p.m. So obviously, no German people are watching at Fridays. And I have a lot of viewers in Scotland or England, and it shows that these are pretty young people. Most of my viewers are only 15 years old, and they share the same interest or curiosity there.
Yeah, because they don't experience what you do. Because our lives, everyone's lives in different countries are completely different.
Yeah,
Hearing stories from my fiance's life and stuff like that, her
yeah,
living a different kind of style, it's fascinating. Just don't,
yeah.
because you're not from that country, you don't get to experience what those people get to experience. And
Oh, finally, you are out of that room.
I am dead as fuck.
No! Oh
Wait,
no!
I got to respawn at least.
Oh, okay, there's a checkpoint. Okay.
I like playing games on the hardest difficulty, so a lot of these enemies.
On your first playthroughs?
Yes,
Oh wow, that's amazing.
it
I
hurts.
mean, I
I'm not
usually
gonna
play
lie.
games on the default difficulty, and if I beat them once, I just raise the difficulty level by one, and so on.
That is a good actual tactic, but the newer games lately, they've been wanting people to do a little bit more, like beats. Like, oh, guess what?
You
Impossible.
can't call Dead Space 2 a modern game.
Oh, it's not super modern, but it's modern enough in my opinion. But I do play a lot of classics. I love classic games. I'm playing this for the fans out there that love Dead Space. I've got a lot of followers because of playing this game.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. Of course, actually, a lot of people compare Soma to Dead Space, like having the same vibe, and I can feel that when it comes to the atmosphere. Of course, not the combat; it's totally different. And also to BioShock, which I don't like at all. BioShock, I hated that game.
It was not a terrible game to me. I myself,
Oh my.
I love FPS.
Mm-hmm.
Love FPS. Anything that is Resident Evil inspired,
Yeah.
Doom inspired, because this is where everything all started. That
Oh my god, I just thought the creature behind you would be standing up again.
it's very inspired by the thing. You like the
Mm-hmm.
thing?
Mm-hmm.
John Carpenter's thing. I love it. but genuinely, I think you should start. Just listening to you talk is just interesting. Listen, you got a good voice.
Thank you.
You got a good voice too. So,
Yeah, I heard that a lot before.
so honestly, take the chance. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I have to upgrade my PC because it's kind of potato PC, and
Listen.
at that point, when I update it, then I might how's it called, multi-stream as well, but only on YouTube and Twitch.
Here's the thing: hit him with classic. Hit him with classics. You don't need to go all out. What you need to do is start off small, build you an audience, and you'll slowly build over time.
Yeah.
And you don't need to worry about anything else after.
Well, I don't worry at all because I have a good job. I'm becoming the CEO of the company in like 1.5 years, and the streaming is just a hobby for me, and it's so much fun to connect with people. I love. I mean, I was so surprised. I always thought I have to deliver any kind of content, and I just recently noticed that it doesn't even. They don't even care what I stream. They are coming for my personality, and that is such a good feeling. I last Friday I just did chatting. I never had the idea to do that, and actually it was totally enough. We had 2.5 hours of great talking. This was so good. I love this connectivity you can build with the internet.
Well, first of all, like, first of all, you got a good personality. You got a good voice.
Thank you.
But not only that, like, here's the thing with me. I'm doing this for a hobby too. This is fun, but it's also good. It'd also be fun to make, some money off of it. And
of course.
Don't ever be greedy. You just be thankful for what you have. But be thankful for what you have.
Yeah, of course. We are not Mr. Beast level. That is totally clear.
Yeah, exactly. But if you get to a point where you're like, damn, it's pretty good, and you get money from it, that's good.
Oh my, the delay is so severe. It just took me like 20 seconds or something. You said you were dead, and I was like, he's probably fearing that he's dead, but then you actually died like 20 seconds later. That's how far behind I am.
Give me 1 sec, my friend.
That's not an issue on your point.
No, but here you go. These little things are so annoying.
What did you do?
I streamed it on
Oh, perfect.
so
this is so rare.
You're gonna be,
Thank you. I can directly see it then.
yeah, so you can at least see. I mean, it's not gonna be the
Perfect.
best quality, but you can at least see in time what the hell's happening.
I said I have a potato PC, so that the quality is well enough. At least then I can react to the current situation.
So, out of curiosity, what countries have you been to, my friend? Have you been to any?
Oh, I've been to Denmark and the Netherlands for music festivals and business trips.
That's cool.
And vacations, I was at Denmark, Greece. Yeah. And for the German army, I was in Afghanistan, and I think that's it.
Oh, you were in the army, okay.
I went in the army 4 years, yeah.
That's good. That's good. People have very, very much respect for people that join the army in their home country.
Yeah, that's only in America. You don't hear "thank you for your service" in Germany, not at all.
Really?
Yep.
That's fascinating.
Everyone is reducing it to the. It's called duty, right? If you have to do it.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. And we had this 9 months of duty that every 19-year-old and 18-plus-year-old man has to do. And now we stopped with that like several years ago, where we got a primary minister of defense that was a family woman, which is kind of unfitting for me. I think that should be a former general that's doing a minister position.
Someone that's actually served the country.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
I mean,
and suddenly everything changed, and there's not the the part where people have to do it anymore. So it's like everyone is not doing it, and suddenly the German army becomes weaker and weaker, and that kind of feels weird to me because I chose to do so, and it's like this is my duty. And if you don't like it, you can volunteer instead to become someone who is doing civil tasks like medical stuff and such, instead of going to the army, for example, if you're a pacifist. And suddenly all of this changed, and I was like, I don't like that tendency, especially weakening the army. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird to me.
How long did you serve?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, I would have stayed. I would have stayed there, but I wasn't allowed, because if you want to stay there for more than 4 years, you either have to have have to learn. You had to learn a job before, or you have to learn a job at the army. But I wanted to become a developer, and back then the German army had a bad reputation for training software developers, and so I chose to go back into civil life and do it there.
That's actually interesting. It's an interesting life on it. Just here in America, things are a little bit, I guess, what's the word? Simple, I guess. Things are just a little bit
I don't know.
weird here. Like, you can either join the army or you don't have to join the army, and then if you do, a lot of people usually make a career out of it, or they just kind of serve their base and now their adios muchachos. But have you always wanted to develop video games?
No, I don't develop video games. I was always interested in algorithms of all sorts, because I had the first connection with programming in school, like the 11th grade or something, or maybe the 10th, where we just played around with that programming language. And yeah, and it really fascinated me that you can, like say a carpenter, or let's say, how are the guys called, doing a lot of craftsmanship with wood? How are these called? Okay, let's say carpenter. A carpenter always knows what he's done at the end of the day, right? He can see beautiful things that he crafted himself, and he's always seeing the product. And it fascinated me that you can do the same with digital things, and at the same time at the same time you are touching a lot of different technologies, and that you can basically everything that you can think of, whatever you want to do, in a virtual environment. And so we had this first lesson of IT in school, where we saw this programming language, and I was like, okay, this really hooks me. I want to install it. I installed it at home, started playing around with it, and after like 3 hours in school, I was already ahead of the teacher, because I was so interested, I was so into it, that I just played around and tested everything. I tested the shit out of this.
That's so cool.
And and after school, I got to the army. I had no connection to that. Oh, at least a little bit. I was tasked with training people to be allowed to go into a story sequence.
You told from there. Don't say you're gonna help. The last person who said that tried to kill me.
Hey, take it easy. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Yeah, you got that right. You try it, and you're dead.
I tried it. Yeah.
It's plot armor.
But go on.
So yeah, at the army, I was God damn it.
I'm Isaac.
Ellie. What do you want, Isaac?
I'm trying to get to the sector.
What do you think we were trying to do?
Hey, I can help you. Besides, we got a better chance if we stick together. Don't you agree?
Most famous sentence.
Chance, Isaac. Other people are just a liability.
They were gonna remake this second game.
I'll release the door lock.
Cool eyes.
But after that, you're on your own.
EA.
And please, okay?
Nope, capitalism. Fuck you.
Follow me, she says, and then closes the door. Okay. So yeah, at the German army, I was tasked with getting people on trainings so they can fulfill their duty in foreign countries. So I did not train them myself. I sent them to trainings. And what's my point? Oh yeah, and I was like, all this technology we use here to control all of that shit, isn't that a little bit old school? And I was like coding in Excel, because you can put your own code into Excel, and I was creating a vast document of like a hierarchy on all of our men, and yeah, afterwards I started my apprenticeship in a civil programming company. And then my best buddy asked me, hey, you are an IT guy now, don't you want to start in our company? And I was like, nah, I don't know, it's not a programming company. But he said, yeah, but we don't have a programmer and it would actually be helpful. And so I got there and started working there. And in the first week, I already changed a lot in that company, because they are creating nameplates for, let's say, machines like pumps and such, with serial numbers and all that shit. And the graphics person there was actually creating these barcodes and serial numbers by hand. He was like having 20,000 nameplates, and he created the graphics for them by typing in every single serial number. I'm not kidding. Every single one. And I was like, no, you can't sit there for a full week. No! You can't sit there for a full week of entering these numbers. You must be kidding, man. I was developing a program for like 3 days or something, and then suddenly we changed this process by, instead of having like 4 days of entering these numbers, we were like doing it in 3 minutes. And that was the moment where the boss said, oh my god, we need you as a programmer.
Have you ever thought about programming for video games at any point in your life?
Yeah, that thought was always somehow behind. I always felt that being interesting, but at the same time, I'm a very logics person. I'm not very creative per se, so I'm not very good at coming up with my own ideas. I'm very good at coming up with solutions based on my experience, but not with like the creativity.
Yeah, here's the thing with like people that made Dune, John Carmack.
Yeah. Okay.
So it takes a good mind to make this another good mind that knows Dune for the program. But it'd be honestly, I find it fascinating. Just because I feel like you could do it, especially if you that you like so much story so much. I feel like you could make something really interesting.
Yeah, but the thing I think about there is Soma is more about the story. That is not programming. Programming is like the logics of the game, the physics or whatever.
It is.
I totally could do that, but I'm not the person that is inventing new mechanics that people find interesting, or a story that is intimidating or such. I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah, you are a smart person. You know what the hell you're talking about.
How do you know? I'm just experienced.
I keep talking to you. You have a interesting way of talking about this. You got a good voice. You know what the hell you're talking about. You got a good head on your shoulders.
Imagine how it would be if we would talk in German.
Oh Lord.
I'm struggling here. Not a native language.
But that is your home language, so I can only imagine.
Well, thank you for the feedback.
No problem. It's good talking to you. It's good getting to conversate with people that just I find interesting, that know what they have a good head on their shoulders. They have a good
Yeah, I think I have the heart at the right place.
exactly.
I always describe myself as a non-social anxiety nerd. What is she doing with that alien?
Oh,
What the
she's
frick?
just gonna hug it. Look at her. She's so sweet. Oh, fuck.
What the frick? Yeah, see, that's what you get. Yeah. You know what? All the monsters we saw before, actually, I find these creepy Pikachus at the ceiling way more creepy than the monsters.
They won't die. Oh, wait, it died. That girl got blown to fucking hell. It's a baby. Explosion, baby.
Left. Wow. So now they are bringing babies. Did you just shove a firefighting truck and... Oh, wow.
Yes, sir.
You're a savage.
Go hard or go home. I hear baby crying.
Yeah, we love to hear that.
Oh.
So yeah, and after playing around with that Atari, I was a total Super Nintendo kid. I basically learned everything from not analog sticks. What's the other thing? Like the D-pad. I'm just a D-pad person. I still play games nowadays with the D-pad if possible because I just can't handle these sticks. These are so imprecise for me.
You know what's very funny? I do the same way. And it's funny because I'm not from your generation. I'm a little bit after your generation.
Yeah.
And D-pad, for some reason, feels so much natural to me. But
Absolutely.
My very first video game I ever played was the very first Resident Evil game. So I got to experience that, and it scared the fuck out of me. As a child. When that zombie turned around and just like looks at you, and I'm just like, I think I'm gonna jump off a bridge now. But I'll be with like that time in the era of video games where things were a little bit weird with the fucking first-person shooter mechanics and stuff like that. Just something about that connects with me, and it stuck with me throughout my entire childhood. So I can only imagine what it's like for you, where you started off with the fucking Atari.
Yeah.
But continue with what you were saying. Please do.
No, I lost my focus on my part because I was just listening to you and I was like hanging on your lips. So at Super Nintendo, if I think about my favorite games, these were already platformers. Especially, and this is still one of my all-time favorites nowadays, is Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2. Because these are not only platformers, they can be hella fast, and I love fast in every kind of game. I love fast games. Not talking about FPS. What the hell is going on there? That is fast. That was intentional? I thought that's a bug.
I don't think that fucking moon is intentional, though.
Okay, yeah, okay, that looks like a glitch. Oh my god, it's freaking out. Platformers always fascinated me, especially if you can play them fast, and that was one of the first games where I noticed if you keep a specific pace, which is fast, if you don't hesitate, you can run through the whole level without hesitating once, without stopping once. And then they intentionally designed it that way. And this always was fascinating to me. I still like to replay these in a speedrunning way of fashion. I just love these donkeys, but don't start with Donkey Kong Country 3. You can fuck this.
I'll be honest. What's your favorite game? What is your favorite game? Just curiosity.
The first one is very easy. Ori and the Blind Forest. I love every freaking aspect of that game. There's no flaw in that game for me. And the second one is a harder choice. But I would say, yeah, it's Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight. So how about we do this? Next time I do a playthrough of any of those games, you join me in a guest chat. We speak about it. We've done to a YouTube channel, YouTube chat. We talk about it as well. More in depth.
I would actually freaking love that because commentary is a thing for me. This is like, it's not a dream of mine, but I always loved the idea of having commentary on something and guiding people on their way, finding things out and talking about the background stuff.
Yeah.
This is why I love this ESA commentary so much, because we had usually it works like this. There's this speedrun marathon that is hosted in English. And many people that cannot speak English watch the German, Turkish.
Are you talking about games done quick?
What?
Are you talking about games done quick?
No, it's not Games Done Quick. It's another thing that is only in Europe. It's called ESA. It's the European Speedrun. I always forget what the A stands for.
God.
It's not agency.
When are they
Whatever.
using
Association.
That's cool. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's way smaller than GDQ.
I'm curious
And-
because when is this done? I'm curious. Out of curiosity, because I would love to watch it.
Oh, you mean
European version?
you mean during the year?
Yeah, that sounds great. Actually, I love this.
I actually don't know, because I usually watch GDQ. I'm a big fan of GDQ. I watch a lot of that. And the ESA was just random. I never watched the ESA, but then because I'm in the Soma speedrunning channel, and there was one of the posters of that event that asked for like, is there someone who is able to play this game and is talking German? Because we want to do the German restream, and that is what they do. They host that event in English, but every country has one of these restreamers that just share the English footage visually, but have in the native language someone sitting there commenting it. And this is a great idea. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's
And I was like,
actually
hey,
fantastic.
I'm a German dude. I'm a speedrunner of that game. I would love to do that, to make the restream moderation, by the way. Yeah, like that. And I did that with another person in that Discord, and we had such a wonderful time. It's funny because it's this does sound cocky, but if you're a shy person, you shouldn't moderate or comment stuff, in my opinion, because you're hesitating, and when people want to get informed on something, hesitating is not the thing you want to watch, right? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, you gotta be the one.
Okay, that's maybe a little bit exaggerated, but at least you shouldn't be the one that is quiet and shy and in the background.
Yeah,
you gotta be a little bit active. You gotta have a little bit of ADHD, right?
I have. I'll be real with you.
And so when I watch GDQ, all of these native speakers are usually pretty known because I mean known to their genre because they are acting already in native language and they don't have the shyness of being maybe a little hesitant of their language. And we were really rocking that thing. I say that because people in chat said like, oh my god, that is such a good commentary. Thank you very much for doing this. How often did you already comment on that? And I was like, we do it for the first time, but we are on fire. We love this game and we are enthusiastic. That's why that is why we don't even think about what should I do or say next. So we were like, huh? Why? This is easy for us because we love this.
Listen, this is a call for you though, because you belong to the gaming community.
Yeah.
Because you need to
Absolutely.
give it. Honestly, I think if you ever did any programming, give it. Maybe find a small indie developer to be the programmer and try. Because I think a person like you is something they deserve because they have. You're first of all really fluent in English, very fluent in.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, you talking to you as a person that only like I know Spanish and English. But talking to you as a person that is a native fantastic. You actually have good feet.
Thank you very much.
So
Glad to hear.
So someone that is with your type of voice and with your kind of standing, with your expertise on programming and stuff,
Okay, stop it. You're making me blush.
no, genuinely, you do a great job. You do a great job. You got a good voice.
You may fool Stross, but I know you're not real.
Oh, you claim I'm not real, and yet here I am.
But
Stross knows
I'll end it off of that.
he knows how to destroy the marker.
I gotta run off. I gotta make myself some dinner and then go to bed, and then I have to get to work. But it was a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
Same to you, man. It was a hell of fun. And I think it's a good time for doing that because we are getting close to 6 a.m. and there is another day coming.
Exactly. I'll be back on American, like the American time, Eastern time zone. I'll be back on 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. for Eastern time zone America.
Yeah, it's so hard to follow American people because, of course, you can only do that on Fridays and Saturdays.
What's your time zone right now? What's your time right now?
Right now it's 5:38 a.m.
5:38. So I'll be back on 4 o'clock for you, my time zone.
Ah, yeah, because you're not that far away.
Yeah, we're not super far. We're not super far away.
Mhm.
But you have a blessed night, my friend. Adios.
You too. It was a hell of fun.
It was